She said, I have another year of eligibility. I said, all right, good. I called Rutgers. They could use you, even at your age. Oh, Jesus. Ah. Go ahead.
Are you ready for the season to start?
Don't I look like I'm raring to go? Well, whether I am or not, it's starting Sunday. So, you know, um, the games are here, and you got to be ready to play them. And you know, you hope that you did enough good things in the preseason, and things are going to happen Sunday that are going to help us win or help us get better. And Wednesday at Vanderbilt, same thing. Saturday at Temple, same thing, you know, or Sunday, whatever day, Sunday. So, you know, it's here. So we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out this weekend.
You know, what about Aubrey? You know, he showed some athleticism and some energy off the bench there.
Yeah. We kind of knew that, you know. Aubrey is at practices. I mean, that's who she is. She's every day like that, you know. She's not quite sure yet, you know, where to go, how to do certain things, but she's really, really good at what she's good at, which is play pretty good defense, you know, be a factor, you know. In transition, she's really good. Offensive rebounding, she's really good. She made a couple of really good plays today, passing the ball. So I say this a lot about freshmen, you know, whatever you see today is the worst they're ever going to look. So they're only going to get better, hopefully. And she's got a huge, huge upside. I'm really, really excited about her. I enjoy coaching her. I really do. She doesn't talk back to me.
Do you get a feel yet for how long it'll take her to kind of get a grasp of things that you not really know with
No.
freshmen?
Yeah, no. Everybody has their own timetable, you know. She'll get it a little bit at a time. In the meantime, you know, she'll keep doing what she's good at and get better at that. But little by little, she'll figure it out. You know, when, I don't know. I wish I could give you the exact date, but I don't know that.
Have you begun to see that progression even though it's been a few weeks in practice?
Yeah,
Signs here and there?
yeah. There's days where she looks completely lost, which is natural. You know, Anna's the same way. There's just a lot of stuff being thrown at them. So this is like the third week, or you know, something like that, late in the third week of practice. So I could tell them it's like math class if you're not a math person. The first week's all hunky-dory till you get to week 3 and you forgot everything you learned on week 1, and now everything's starting to, and now you don't know anything. So they have those moments where that happens. But when they're good, both of them, they're really, really good. And when they're not so good, you know, I think they make up for it by doing some other things. So, you know, time will tell. But I'm excited. I'm excited for them.
I was going to say, it's a good sign when, you know, it would be easy for them to just shut down when they're struggling in a sense, but they, you know, said they get things done.
Yeah.
And they just keep going.
Yeah.
That's a good sign right now.
Yeah, probably because they both know they're good players. And they both know that they actually have something that they can contribute. You know, and they have a skill. Like Anna knows that I have a certain skill. I know that I'm pretty good with the ball in my hands, and I know what I'm doing. You know, and Aubrey knows when the ball goes up, I go get it. And if somebody tries to pass it, I try to steal it. And when they throw it to me, I go to the basket. So because they have something to fall back on, that, I think that gives them a little bit of confidence. And they know they're going to play. They know I like them. Never realized how far that goes. I think that goes pretty far when players think you like them. I haven't experienced that in a long time.
Nothing new with Medina, right? Put him in the waiver
No.
yesterday.
No. I think today was the deadline for the appeal. Then, I don't know, I guess hopefully we'll hear, they said in a week. So that's all I know. That's it.
Gino, you talked about some of the inexperience that you have, but at the one position, you have a lot of experience with Crystal. But do you
Yeah.
feel what the team would be like when she's not on the court?
Yeah, you saw the third and fourth quarter. That's kind of how we are. You know, when you have somewhat of an inexperienced team, okay, which I think we do. I mean, we have Crystal, and then everybody else doesn't really have a lot of college basketball under their belt, right? So when you have somewhat of an inexperienced young team, they can play really well when they just kind of go up and down the floor. And there's not a whole lot of thinking about. There's a guy open, I'm going to throw it to him, and when that guy catches it, if there's nobody in front of me, I'm going to drive it to the basket. And if there is, I'm just going to shoot. And if I'm not, I throw it here, I throw it there, over there, and the ball, you know, kind of natural things. So we're good at that game. When Crystal's not in the game, we're not good at the half-court, grind-it-out kind of game, where you have to think. This cut is important, this screen is important, how I make this cut is important. That, you know, we tried to work on that in the second half, and we didn't have a lot of great success with it. You know, we made a conscious effort not to run up and down the floor the second half. You know, what would be the point of winning 140 to 50? You know, score 70 more points. So we said, let's try to get better at some things that we're good at, that we're going to need. And mixed reviews, you know, some okay, some not so okay, some terrible. So that's where we have to get better, in that area, the half-court area.
You talked about the progression of certain players. How do you like how Megan's progressed since freshman year to now?
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't look like the same player. She's got a lot of energy. She's in great shape. You know, physically she looks great. Her energy level is great. She's confident with the ball in her hands. You know, it's been a process. You know, and sometimes it's been painful, but I got a feeling that what we're seeing, you know, in these, I know they're only exhibition games, but it's been a lot of that in practice too, against way better players. So, yeah, with Crystal and Kristen's got to do more, you know. Right now, Kristen is, you know, give it to me and I'll shoot it. And if I don't have it and I can't shoot it, then I don't know, you know, what I can contribute. So we got to figure that one out. But with Crystal and Megan, we have two pretty good players. And I would expect that we're going to have to see that every night from them. And if we throw Kristen in there, you know, then we're in pretty good shape.
How's Evelyn?
Go ahead.
How's Evelyn's progression been?
Again, days. You know, when you're only here 1 year, it's like you're a freshman, but you're not, because you should know some things because you played in college for a long time. But where you played at a whole different pace than what we're asking you to play. So it's a lot of watching film and a lot of here's where you can help us. And look, we're going to need her. So we're trying to find out what are all the things that you can help us. Maybe there's only two things, but we're going to have to zero in on those two things.
What is it that you want to get from Kristen, other than just the scoring? What do you see her capable of bringing to this team?
I mean, kids that score, if you're not careful, and I know this firsthand from coaching a lot of players that can score, they have to learn how to play basketball when they don't have the ball. So, you know, how many times do you get a piece of the ball? How many steals do you get? How many offensive rebounds do you get? You know, defensively, you know, what are you contributing to the team effort? You know, there's a lot of things that go into basketball that don't involve scoring, and that's something that she knows she needs to get more involved in. She needs to get more involved in the game rather than just when I get the ball. You know, and that's not easy for someone who's a scorer. That's basically her identity. Hopefully we'll get more than that.
Gino, as the season goes along, the roster doesn't change much, and against the better teams, if Olivia Nelson gets in foul trouble early, how we kind of think your way through that, an opponent, against the better teams?
Who? Like the really good teams?
Yeah,
And Olivia gets in foul trouble?
she gets 2 in the first, 7 minutes.
We're going to lose. I mean, there's a good chance we're going to lose that game. That's why it's imperative that we come up with ways that Olivia doesn't foul, that stays in the game. She is someone that can make a huge difference at both ends of the floor. And there's no getting around that. You know, you don't. It's a shame because you go from as a freshman playing a limited role to now you're being told that, listen, every big game that we play, if you don't play great and stay out of foul trouble, we're going to have a hard time winning. That's a lot. It's a lot to put on her, but it's true. I'm not saying it's impossible for us to win if Liv's in foul trouble, but I think it would be very, very difficult. And every day we try to impress that upon her. But that's just something she's going to have to learn, we may just have to outscore them. Just don't touch anybody, Liv. Don't go near anybody. Just stand in the middle of the lane and don't go near anybody. She would enjoy that.
You've had post players like Stephanie Dolson and Lisa, who through the years they took their game outside a little bit. Do you expect to see that from Olivia?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would venture to say that she might score as much, like you saw today, like a lot of her shots were perimeter shots, not perimeter, but they weren't layups, which is good and bad. You can't get a layup tonight. Yeah, who are you going to get a layup against, right? But yeah, she would prefer to face up and shoot the ball. And we're using her a lot to pass the ball. She's gotten really good at that. So she's going to end up with a lot of opportunities at the free throw line. So if we play against a bunch of teams that have big kids that aren't as mobile as Liv is, I think we're going to have a little bit of an advantage if she can make a couple. She's going to be a good three-point shooter down the road. She'll make a couple this year. She'll make a couple. Yeah. It's a long way to go. Yeah, go ahead.
When's the last time you felt like this 3-4 days out from season?
What's that again?
When's the last time you felt like this?
Oh.
3-4 days out from start of season?
With this many kind of uncertainties?
Head in hands.
Yeah. I would say whenever you have a lack of players that have already been through it all and have played a lot of basketball at the college level, whenever you don't have that, it's a nightmare for a coach, because you just don't ever know what you're going to get day in and day out. So everything's a wait and see. You know, I didn't sit here last year before our first game wondering, geez, I hope Lou makes a shot, or I hope Fisa scores in the lane. So there were certain things that were a given. And we have to find out what are those givens. And right now, there are not a whole lot of them, but they'll come. It's just hard on the coaching staff as to when we will know exactly what we're getting. And you know, with an inexperienced group and the schedule that we have, there's going to be a lot of head in my hands. There's going to be a lot of that. A lot. A whole lot.
You know, they announced the USA exhibition today. United States will be released, but I was just curious.
What was it? I didn't see it.
Well, I don't know. Animated.
Who wrote it?
Animated.
Animated it? What does Anna think that I think? What does Anna think that I think?
I don't read it.
Oh.
It's gonna be a great opportunity.
Great opportunity, you know, playing against our guys, you know, blah, 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 blah. It's always an honor to be invited, to play them. I could probably recite the whole thing.
I'm just curious that when Stewie was here this weekend, if she gave you any indication.
By the way, not for nothing, it's the only black shirt I had. I wanted to feel smart tonight, so I wore a Harvard shirt. This is the closest I get to Harvard. All right, go ahead.
Did Stewie give you any kind of indication that she could play in that game, or, I don't know what, I have no idea what her timetable is.
Stewie?
Yeah, would she be, I mean, I know.
I think she would like to-
Diana and Sue are gonna play, correct?
I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think.
But I was just wondering what.
I would think.
Stewie would be close enough.
I don't know what the time frame is for someone coming back from an Achilles injury. I don't know. She seems to indicate that, like I did a workout with her yesterday morning, and we went about an hour, and she can pretty much do anything that doesn't involve anything sharp. So when will she be able to like cut like that, like sharp cuts? And there's some things off of one leg that she's still not there yet. But it's almost all there. When does it become where she can actually play? I don't know. This is November 6th. I think she's thinking maybe if she can get something done, you know, by the first of the year, middle of January. I know in conversations with her, she'd like to play a couple minutes in that game. I think it would mean a lot to her. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. It's all wait and see. But she looks really good. I mean, she's up at school every day. She's in the gym 3 or 4 hours, whether it's in the weight room, in the training room, on the court, you know, all her rehab. She's working at it, man. And it's great to have her around too. It's great for the kids to see when she gets in a shooting drill how many shots she makes. She just doesn't miss shots, you know. And having Kalina there has been really good too, you know, because it gave me an opportunity to say to the players, you know, some choice word, you know, some words of wisdom, like those of you guys that fancy yourself as like a really good three-point shooter. That's a really good three-point shooter. So when you look like that, then I'll say, wow, you're a really good three-point shooter. So they don't believe when I say you have to really guard her, and they'll get up like they would a normal three-point shooter. And the closer they get to her, the more she makes. And then they foul her, and she still makes them. And then they start to realize, if I don't let her shoot it, then I have a chance that it won't go in. That's the only chance. So it's good for them to see that. It's been fun. I think they're at my house right now. I hope there's anything left when I get back.
Caught you sleeping the other day.
You know why? Because they're boring. Seriously, I think we were watching a football game. Yeah, we were watching a football game. And, yeah, I mean, they sit there and they're really dull. And actually, I think Kathy and I were both asleep. Yeah. Seriously. They're boring. They lead boring lives. They're just boring people. I mean, if they were exciting, I'd be awake listening to what they have to say, but they're dull. They're dull. Now, you've been covering our team for 20, 35 years. Somebody said to you, hey, the most exciting interviews since you've been covering our team. Stewie and Kalina would not be at the top.
I wouldn't talk to
Yeah,
them on tape.
you know, they're not exactly the most exciting people in the world. So imagine, you know, if you guys spend hours with them, they're boring. They're boring. They're it's the best way to describe it. They're dull. Nice kids, but they're dull.
Anything else?
Especially when they've been drinking. What? What?
Speaking of sleeping, I couldn't help but think that, you know, are you thinking you saw Linda Miles referee, you're going to wake up from this nightmare at 3:45?
When I heard she was doing the game, I thought it brought back a lot of memories. You know, like, there's been some characters in the old Big East. There's been some amazing characters that we played against in the Big East, and Linda Miles is near or the top of that list. CD was telling a story today that when we were recruiting Linda, she said she's the very first person that said, CD, give me your number, I want to call you. And CD said, how about this, Linda? How about I call you instead of you call me? First recruit ever that CD didn't give her a phone number. Go tell you something about Linda. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. She was a professional wrestler.
Wrestling thing.
And it fit her well. She was on that, like, reality show where they, like, you know,
Yeah, she won a contract.
yeah, she won something that made her into a wrestler, which, you know, that's how she played anyway. That's how she played basketball.
I thought you would say something, because I remember the time after they beat you, she said 4 more years.
Oh, yeah.
And she's still waiting.
She is still waiting. She's got a lot of guts too, man. She's a tough kid. But we were playing at Rutgers, and we had a lot of guys that didn't play that game, I think. We had a couple guys hurt, and she was young, and they're shooting free throws down the other end in front of their own bench, and Linda comes all the way down to our bench and stands right across from me at the foul line. And I'm trying not to pay attention to her because she's like, blah, 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 blah. She talks the whole game, right? And she walks closer and closer and closer to me and puts her hands on her knees and looks over and goes, hey, Gino, get used to this, man. 4 more years of this, baby. And I just kind of shook my head. I didn't say anything. I said, man, oh, man, imagine if this kid was at Connecticut. It would be all hell would break loose, right? And make a long story short, they didn't even get close to ever beating us again. We made her into a great wrestler and a great referee. Linda Miles. What a treat. Love her.